everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've had a great week and weekend, and I thank you for coming back and watching my videos again. Today's video is going to be a video that I saw has been requested in some of my comments, and this is going to be on how to study more than one language at once, specifically cross-studying tips for Korean and Japanese, at least my way and how I've been handling it. So if you want to see what I have to say, please keep watching. Okay, so a little background for those of you who are new to this channel. I've been studying Japanese now for 4 years, and I've been studying Korean going on to my 2nd year. And so I would say I'm about intermediate to advanced in Japanese, and then I would say I'm about beginner. I feel like I'm intermediate in some aspects of Korean, and then I feel like I'm beginner in other aspects because I never had educational instruction, classroom instruction on learning Korean. I only had about a couple of weeks worth of it, so everything has kind of just been like self-taught, or because of the fact that I lived in Korea. So I feel like when it comes to like maybe sentence structures or like certain rules for things, I'm a beginner in that aspect. But when it comes to vocabulary, or when it comes to colloquialism, or when it comes to pronunciation, I feel like I'm more intermediate on that. The first tip I want to give you that I was able to use when I was cross-studying, which seems like a really simple thing, but it really does work, is that the same way that Japan has manga, Korea has manhwa, and it is the Korean version of manga. And you can find a lot of Japanese manga translated into Korean. So if you were already using Japanese manga to study Japanese, you can find a lot of them also that have been translated into Korean, and then kind of like base it off of what you remember from the Japanese manga. For example, this is one of my Naruto manga, and Naruto is a popular enough series that you can find it in Korea and China as well. This is my manga version. However, when I was in Korea, I was able to also use the manhwa version, and I was able to see that there was this exact manga had been translated into Korean. So it's kind of like once you were already reading the manga and you kind of understood it, or you were learning from it, once you read the manhwa, you can like compare and contrast, and that can show you some similarities in that aspect. It may not be the most beginner friendly way, but it's definitely something that helps you to understand between the two languages. I don't actually have these mangas, but these are 2 mangas that I know have also been translated into manhwas, and then also made into dramas in both Korean and Japanese, which is also a really good cross-study tip. Watching something that you've watched in Korean, watching that in Japanese, or watching something that you've watched in Japanese, watching it in Korean. Hana Yoridango is a really popular Japanese manga that's been translated into many Asian languages and many Asian dramas. So you can find Hana Yoridango, aka Boys Over Flowers, in Japanese and Korean and Chinese. You can read it in the manhwa version, or you can watch the Japanese drama Hana Yoridango, and then you can watch the Korean version Boys Over Flowers, and you can kind of compare and contrast once you understand the scenes and the flow of what was happening, because you had already known Japanese or because you had already known Korean. So once you watch it in the other language, you can kind of understand, oh yeah, this is the part where Domyoji is being like a jerk or something, talking about like tickets. I don't know, like, you know, once you kind of understood that scene in the other language, you can kind of understand it, or begin to understand it in the language that you're then trying to study. A little side note, a little suggestion from me is, if you guys have ever read or watched Coffee Prince in Korean, if you've ever watched the drama Coffee Prince in Korean, then I think you should try and watch it in Japanese as well. It's a really great drama, and this one isn't actually a manga, I heard, but it's also a story, so they do have text translation in both Japanese and Korean if you're willing to check that out. But definitely check out the drama for that one. It's really funny. I like Coffee Prince a lot. Another tool that has helped me out that I want to recommend, that I know it's not the easiest to have, is to have an electronic dictionary, a denshi jisho in Japanese. For those of you who are already studying Japanese, then you kind of already know about these. But if you don't, these are just basically electronic dictionaries that are portable and that allow you to search the words you're looking for in Japanese or English, and then it translates for you. The reason why I'm suggesting this is because I was able to find a trilingual one that has Korean, Japanese, and English on here. So I'm allowed to either search it in English and have it pull up in Japanese, search it in Japanese and have it pull up in English, or search it in Japanese, have it pull up in Korean, search it in Korean, and have it pull up in Japanese. I have never heard of Denshi Jishos to be made by any American provider. As far as I know, it's a Japanese product. So you're usually going to find it being able to translate back to Japanese. So you would have to kind of have an understanding of Japanese first. I've seen German, English, Japanese ones, Portuguese, Japanese, English ones, Chinese, Japanese, English ones. So as long as it has Japanese in it, there are a lot of trilingual dictionaries out there. Denshi Jishos are kind of pricey. They are like and it's something that has a different model every year, but it's not easy for you to find the previous model. So I've seen the cheapest Denshi Jisho for around 200, and then normally they're around like 300 to 400 when they first come out. So it is a little bit pricey, but they are worth the investment if you're somebody who's really serious about studying languages. You don't have to be cross language studying to own a Denshi Jisho. If you're trying to study Japanese, I highly recommend you get one. But nowadays, you know, your iPhone and I think Androids have those apps like Imiwa, the Japanese dictionary, or you can get Naver, the Korean English dictionary, on your phone, and you can use that as well. But sometimes, you know, we just miss the old school feel of having a dictionary. And if you don't want the electronic dictionary, there are some hard copy dictionaries, but I think you would be more pressed to find those in America or wherever you are. I think you have to get those in either Korea or Japan. You have to look at it from the standpoint of whichever language you're better at, and then which language you're trying to learn. So if you are better at Korean, then it's probably best for you to find a Korean to Japanese dictionary. If you're better at Japanese, it's better for you to find a Japanese to Korean dictionary. You could check, I think, jisho.org. They have some links on there to find electronic dictionaries as well as hard copy dictionaries with multiple languages in there. So try that. But I highly recommend you getting electronic dictionary if you're trying to study Korean and or Japanese. And if you can get a trilingual one, even better. My third tip actually kind of goes along with the dictionary, and it's what I find myself doing a lot when I was in Korea. If you can write the words that you know down in Japanese, and then you can find the word in Korean and then write it side by side. Kind of old school, but you know, writing things down really does help to memorize things. So if you know, like I have the word written here, fueru, which means to grow in English, and then I have the Korean charata, which also means to grow. So writing something like that a couple of times, or just writing it once and then having like a list of, you know, the English words in both Japanese and Korean can really help you memorize it. Like I said, kind of old school method, but writing things down really helps it to stick in your memory. Another tip I want to show you that I've used is just buying textbooks, like I was saying. When I was in Korea and Japan, I managed to get a lot of textbooks. I have this JLPT textbook from a native Korean speaker's point of view, which really helped me out because it has like instructions in both Japanese and Korean, and then, you know, it has the answers and options in Korean and Japanese. So just being able to have a textbook that has both languages in there really helps a lot. I really wish I knew of more American places to get these kind of things, but I've only seen them on like Amazon, but I have not seen any store or anything with them in it. So if you're lucky enough to visit Japan or visit Korea, it's something that I always do. Whenever I go to another country, I go to the bookstores to see what they have. But when in doubt, always try Amazon or Rakuten. You might have to pay the shipping cost on Rakuten to get it from Japan to here, but if you're serious and you need those books and you don't have any other way to get them, you should try that. And my last and final tip, although you might not see it as a big tip, actually helped me a lot, is just watching Korean programming. No, excuse me. Watching Japanese programming with Korean subtitles, or watching Korean programming with Japanese subtitles. It's good for your listening, and then it's good for your reading. Those are kind of like quick, you know, the way the captions go across the screen, but it could help you to kind of understand, well, to hear the situation first, and then maybe you can watch it again a second time and just focus on reading the captions or the subtitles. I found that worked for me a lot, as well as listening to Korean songs in Japanese. I have yet to find Japanese songs in Korean, but there are a lot, for those of you who like K-pop, there are a lot of artists that also make Japanese versions of their songs. So that can also help you, because then, you know, you already knew the meaning from listening to it in the Korean version, but then you hear the Japanese words, and so you can kind of figure out the vocabulary for that scenario as well. It's not going to be easy to study 2 languages at the same time, and you're going to have to, you know, really devote yourself, but it's not impossible, especially when you have languages with similar grammatical structure like Korean and Japanese and Chinese. I'm sorry if I didn't give you guys information you were looking for, but these are just the tips and tools that I've used, and it's the only thing that I've been able to find up to date that's kind of worked for me. If I find anything else, I'll let you know, but you could always talk to me. I'm not an expert, but you could always talk to me if you needed some help, and I would always do my best to help you back out. So that's going to be it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up this video if you liked it, and talk to me on social media. All handles, all platforms is at MissBerhane. I'll talk back to you. Thank you guys again, and have a great week. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. 자, 맞다네. 안녕히 계세요. Bye-bye.